Good morning, friends. Today we are going to learn our third poem from module number 4, that is The Orphan Girl by Henry DeRozio. In the previous lecture, we learned about I Shall Return to This Bengal, the poem about partition literature, and Song of Youth by APJ Abdul Kalam, that is about the inspiration for the youth, and the Abdul Kalam written this song for youth, and his here we can understand how the next poem is about the orphan girl, that is the sensitive topic, how orphan girl would lead her life. Through this poem, poet want to suggest about the condition of the orphan girl in the society. And the Henry DeRozio is a poet who wrote about the condition of the orphan girl in the society. See the first part, that is Henry Louis Vivian DeRozio is a poet, shows us about the condition of a woman, condition of an orphan girl, oppressed women in the society. And here it's his introduction, that is how he lived only 22 years life. Henry Louis Vivian DeRozio, 1809 to 1831, is an Anglo-Indian poet and poet of Portuguese origin. He worked as a teacher in Hindu college, a free and progressive thinker, and a social activist. He helped change Indian society from orthodoxy to liberalism by speaking in favor of women, peasants, and freedom of press. His activities created a social revolution in Bengal in early 19th century, which is known as Bengal Renaissance. Inspired by the scenic beauty of the Ganges, he became poet. Due to the natural beauty, he became a poet. He became a poet. Dirazio died of cholera at an early age of 22 in Calcutta. The government of India issued a commemorative postal stamp in his honor in 2009. The poem Orphan Girl, The Orphan Girl, tells the story of an orphan girl and visualizes how the orthodox, cruel society would treat her when she grows up. So, here we can understand how he lived only age of life of 22 years, but he marked his uh, particular signs and words on the society, and he wrote for the society, the particular part of the society, that is women. And actual poem is about the orphan girl, as it is titled as the orphan girl. It shows the condition of the orphan girl who is not having mother and father, and what will be the condition of that girl in the society. So he draws our attention towards social situations which is real in this phase, also in the 21st century also. So see the actual poem. Her hair was black as a raven's wings. Her cheek was tulip's hue did wear. Her voice was soft as when night winds sing. Her brow was as a moonbeam fair. Her sigh These four lines described about her beauty and her nature, and he and about the orphan girl, and we can visualize her beauty though she is a orphan. And from the fifth line, it shows the tragic event and tragedy with the orphan girl. Her sire, it means her father, had joined the wake of war. The battle shocked the shout and scar. He knew and gained a glorious grave. Such is the guerdon of the brave, her anguished mother's suffering heart. And after that, could not endure a widow's part. She sunk beneath her soul's distress and left her infant parentless. After the death of her father in the battlefield, her mother also died due to the heart attack and in the pains of her husband's death, and left her infant, that small child, girl child, parentless. This is the second part, how she became orphan. Next part, the next stanza, that is, she hath no friend on this cold, bleak earth to give her a shelter, a home, and a hearth. A hearth. Hearth means the warmth. And in this second stanza, we can see what is the condition of the orphan girl in the society. This orphan girl represents the orphan girls in the society, which we see in the day to day life also. So, she had no friend on this cold, bleak earth to give her a shelter, a home, and a hearth. Through life's dreary desert, alone she must win. She has to struggle herself. For alas, wretched have never a friend, and should she stray from virtue's way, the world will scorn, and its scorn can slay. So, the world will kill her, and held in contempt and disrespect, the world will disrespect her. Ah, shame hath enough to wring the breast, with the weight of sorrow and guilt oppressed. But oh, it's coldly cruel to wound the bosom whose blood must gush unbound. No tear is as bright as the tear that flows for erring women's unpitied woes, miseries resulting for affliction, that how the women also blamed her, and blessed to be for forever his honored name, who shelters an orphan from sorrow and shame. So here in this second stanza, her miserable condition is described by the poet Desario. How the orphan girl can't lead her life happily in the society, in the cruel society. So she can't stay with her virtues in this world. She remained alone and friendless in this society. Here, writer says that how the orphan girl's life is very bad, very oppressed in the society. In every society, we can see this picture. So, the poem The Orphan Girl is about a young girl whose father died in a war and the mother died in the sorrow of her husband. She is left orphan, and the poet is concerned about her future in the cruel world. The poem consists of two main stanzas having 12 lines each. So, in these two stanzas, we can understand in the first stanza there is a description of her beauty in the first four lines, and after remaining lines are about hus- her father's and mother's death. And after poet very much uh, eager, very much Here we can say that he is concerned about her future and uh, tell the truth in the world, that is how she will lead her life alone as an orphan girl in this society. So in the first poem, first part, we can see this the description of innocent orphan girl, description of her father's death for nation, and orphan girl's mother and her condition after that the death of her husband, and how the girl became orphan. She is without parents in the world. Second part, we see no friend without shelter, how she lead her life in that dreary desert, society's views towards her, and she is not safe in society because she is orphan. Miserable life as an orphan girl she has to lead. Weight of sorrow and guilt oppressed her. And we can see through this those lines how there is a weight of sorrow and guilt oppressed her, who shelters an orphan from sorrow and shame. No one is going to shelter her from sorrow and shame. So here we can understand how the poet wrote about the orphan girl and her condition. Here we can understand how the life of orphan girl or any child, girl or a boy, is very miserable one, but but here particularly writer shows us the life of the girl. So here is a writing activity for you. Try to write those activity, that is write a show story of an orphan child whom you have met, or imagine such a child and describe how the society treats such children. All of us know about it, that how the society treats the orphan girl or orphan child. And here the suggested reading for you, that is read the autobiography of Sausindhutai Sapkar, who runs a shelter home in Pune. Recently she passed away, and we come to know about her whole life if we see the videos on YouTube and her speeches. We can understand what is the life of orphan child and how she shelters them throughout her life. She devoted her life for that children. So at least see the videos of Sindhutai Sabka, and you will come to know what is the miserable condition and how they lead their life in the society. So here we'll stop for today.